Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and welcome Sparrow back to the channel. Look at this. This is an exciting game right here. Carl Cup 5 was coming up, right? And I just was on DOK, like, okay, yeah, we don't, the Discord server that is, like, we don't really have enough, oh, by the way, if you're not in the Discord server, you gotta join the Discord server. Maybe I'll put the link to it in the description, but that's, like, how you find multiplayer games, how all this stuff gets organized. But I was like, you know, we need more people for our tournament. So I just pinged, like, some of the old classics, you know what I mean, like, Greppy, he's played recently, but still, you know, Quicksilver, Sparrow. And Sparrow responded, and I was like, he can't join the tournament, he says, but, like, hey, you know, what's up, I suppose. And somehow Descara organized a game with him, he streamed it, I got the replay from him. Apparently he was, like, really drunk during this game or something. I don't know, maybe I got that wrong, but spawning in the south as the Galzian force is kind of a change-up, it is going to be Descara. Look at the red, ooh. And then spawning up in the north, playing as the white-on-white coalition forces, which is also a bit of a change-up, it is going to be Sparrow. Now, for those of you who don't know, I should give some introduction to this player. A lot of you are new to DOK. But Sparrow was the player kind of like around release, you know, during the tournaments, like the Artifact Cups that they would run back there, who was like the kryptonite for AGameAnx. You know, AGameAnx, hopefully anyway, was just insane at that time, like winning 90% of tournaments. The only ones he lost he wasn't at, or he was beaten by Sparrow. Sparrow somehow would just beat him like every time. It was so weird to see, because Sparrow would be beaten by other people, etc. So Magpie, the old caster from back then, we miss you, Magpie, come back. He actually like sponsored Sparrow and AGame to play like a show match by offering, you know, 50 euros on the line. The winner gets 35, the loser gets 15. That is a series that I definitely recommend you watch. It's like 7 games long, I think, on all of the 1v1 maps in a row. Really interesting stuff. It was a little bit old meta, but it still is very informative for like Galzian versus Galzian kind of economic, you know, strategies in the early game. And you should definitely check it out if you got some time. It's still on Magpie's channel, of course. Sparrow ended up winning that one, came out, you know, 20 euros the richer, and really showed that, like, for some reason, he was just the kryptonite to AGameAnx. I mean, I've beaten Sparrow, admittedly I hadn't played him many times. Descara's definitely beaten Sparrow, you know, like, lots of people have beaten Sparrow, but AGameAnx, very rarely has he beaten him. The best of 7 was close. I think it really went, like, 3-4 or something like that, so I'm not to say that, like, AGameAnx is trash or something against Sparrow, but still, it was just amazing to see that, like, for some reason, this guy would always beat him. Now, it looks like, true to his name, I think I talked about in my last video, he is an aggressive player, and he is here with LAVs, he's attacking his production cruiser. Descara went refinery mode first, and this is definitely the punishment for a refinery mode first build. If any of you are having trouble dealing with, you know, Galzian refinery mode first, just spam LAVs at them, man, like, they're gonna die. I can't say for, like, 3v3 maps, but, you know. Descara, however, he is no ordinary Galzian, he is the Swedish monster himself, and looks like Sparrow was dumping his damage in this production cruise, but he is not going to go down by my estimation. I mean, I guess it's possible, but I really don't think so. So it looks like a lot of this damage, unfortunately, is going to be wasted. Both these players are going to be kind of on even footing here, but Sparrow's still making LAVs, he still wants to get something done here. Production cruiser is going to get out with about 1/4 health. That thing heals up really fast, so that's really unfortunate for Sparrow. He has put a turret down on this base right here, but the carrier is going to weed that one out. And Descara going to be on 2 bases before too long. Sparrow's falling up with a production cruiser. This can be okay for him, but he's beginning to fall behind here. No, it's going to be fighter and gunship fabrication. He's really going for it. Man, I love watching Sparrow play. You know what? Another unforgettable game you need to watch. Oh shoot, but what Artifact Cup is it from? I just recently watched this. It's also on Magpie's channel, but it's Sparrow versus Descara, but of course he's playing, actually it's Soban that time, and Sparrow's playing as Galzian. But that is like one of the most awesome, like, relentless aggression games that you'll ever see, you know, just Sparrow, like, refinery mode, that's for noobs. 2 production cruisers in the base, you know, just like a total brawl, like both players coming out of that with like both of their nostrils bleeding, you know, whatever. Really fun match right there. I mean, as you can tell, there's a lot of history behind this player. I am, like, stoked that he's back in the game now, you know. This is really, like, big news for me. And we're even considering, like, changing the time slot for Artifact Cup, no, for Carrot Cup 6, so that he can actually join it. He's such a legendary player, you know what I mean? I really wish we'd gotten Quicksilver too. Quicksilver was like one of the beta testers, I believe. I think AGameAnx can like fact check me on this, but sorry, I'm getting so like nerdy with all the lore here, but but yeah, AGameAnx was one of the beta was one of the beta. I said it again. Was one of the beta testers, and so that's like where a lot of his really good game knowledge comes from. Is because like he was giving these suggestions. Like of course he knows exactly how they work. You know what I mean? And on top of that, like Quicksilver was one of the beta testers. I can't say for other people, but I bet some of the players that we know today were actually beta testers for the game too. But I'm not totally sure. So yeah, you can blame AGameAnx for like the OP cruise missile. By the way, it's totally his fault. But anyway, Quicksilver was like one of these beta testers, and in the first ever like casted game of DOK, that was back when they didn't even have replays, so it was kind of a miracle they were able to pull that off. Oh, Sparrow, you can dive on that. Dive on that, man. Dive on that. That is one assault ship against that many LAVs. I guess he's worried about this sand skimmer counterplay right here, but I don't know. Anyway, the first ever cast of DOK was like AGameAnx against Quicksilver, and AGameAnx is like clearly winning, but then Quicksilver pulls off like this insane precision barrage strike on his carrier and like kills it when his carrier is at like 5% health. It's just crazy, you know. It's a really awesome game right there. That's on the General's Gentleman channel. I don't know if you know what that is, but that's a really fun match that you should watch too sometime. It's also really interesting to see how the meta has switched so much, you know, because back then they played completely differently. Anyway, these assault ships in kind of the perfect position right behind the stew, and they're lurking on these LAVs right here. Any damage done there is permanent, any damage done here is non-permanent as long as the unit doesn't die, so. But this is a really scary blob of LAVs. And Sparrow, he's got one artifact out, so his carrier is pretty strong. He's not going to get taken out by these sand skimmers just now. There's 2 interceptors out, but like this is the AA of like 4 missile batteries, so he definitely does not want to fly over that. It's even got a base runner in the mix, you know what I mean? And actually, there's a real danger that his main is in trouble. I would, if I were him, cancel these salvagers and start making more assault ships, because this is kind of risky. But if he just masses assault ships, this is the perfect counter to what Sparrow's got here. And Sparrow got fighter and gunship fabrication, but he did not make any, so I'm not totally sure. Maybe he saw assault ship tech and he was just like, yeah, I'm not doing this because he knows interceptors are superior. But yeah, look, this is what I was talking about. These LAVs are going to dive on this assault ship. This time this production cruiser must fall. There's so many LAVs here. Unupgraded to boot, but there's just so many of them. It's going to be railgun fabrication from Sparrow. That's a little bit risky with these air units in the air. Well, I mean, it's supposed to on the ground, I guess. Oh no, Sparrow, you didn't get the PC. Attack that thing. Get it. You gotta get that. No! 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 Okay. Still though, look at it. He just got completely destroyed there. I'm not sure what did all that damage to those LAVs. There was like one moment where they suddenly took a ton of damage, but that is not good for Sparrow. Let me tell you right now. You can blame the lag. He's in Korea. His support cruiser also getting sought on by these sand skimmers. Air units in, you know, the air. Taking out this turret. His artifact probably extracts in this case, but I'm not even sure, honestly. Looks like things are really beginning to fall apart for him here. I mean, he had a really strong position there, but he was definitely on a knife edge. If he didn't get like tons of value out of those LAVs right then, he was definitely going to lose, and I think that's the case now. These kinds of players can definitely drag this out for a long time. It's not going to be easy for Descara, but he's got to win this one. I don't think there's really any way for Sparrow to come back at this point. I mean, look, he's not even on 2 base because he's locked healing the support cruiser. If the support cruiser hadn't taken all that damage, if the PC had gone down and the LAVs were still in the field, you know, we'd be looking at 2 base against 2 base, but instead we're looking at 2 base against, you know, 2.5, or sorry, 1 base against 2.5, and soon to be 3, I would assume. Yeah, there's the production cruiser getting produced. Production getting produced. Air units in the air, production getting produced. You know, what else can I say that sounds stupid? There are railguns in the area, and, you know, don't be fooled, this sand dune doesn't actually exist. Or maybe it's this one, I can't remember, but there's a sand dune that, like, literally just doesn't exist for some reason. It's like the dumbest thing. Actually, support cruiser might go down here. I think it will. There's no AA in that area there. The Sparrow just like getting knocked down over and over. Yeah, there you can see people shooting through that dude. DVI, please fix. SSSS, please fix. Can we say that? Because that actually might be an easier change to make. And I don't think it's reflected on this side. Like, I think on this side that dune actually does exist, which is kind of annoying. Anyway, I said that going for railguns was dangerous with interceptors in the air. With air units in the air, because that means that they can get picked off, you know what I mean? Like, the counter to rail aggression is often actually air in that sense, because you can pick these things off that are attacking you really nicely and kind of like get defensive field control. Also, when a soldier's running into the backline, this is super bad for Sparrow here. That will take out a lot of salvagers if it's not micro. Just more micro attacks on Sparrow. Smoke comes down, support cruiser, very good smoke right there. But still, salvager's gonna go down here. Another support cruiser gets produced as this one's about to go down. Probably it's brutal, you know. Descara just holding no punches. He's gonna start extracting artifacts en masse. Textbook play from Descara, exactly what we expect to see from him, you know what I mean? Once he's ahead, you know, he doesn't take any risks, but he does exactly what he needs to do. And make no mistake, he is miles ahead right now. Look at this, 3 base runners. He's going to get 3 artifacts that way. He's got this dominant field control. Evil. And despite, you know, Sparrow having the perfect unit to deal with this, he still has taken this much damage. I mean, at this point, he needs to go for missile batteries or something, but, like, how can he fit that in, you know what I mean? And he does have the tech, but just, like, you know, there's just no way that he can really get this kind of stuff. So, Descara kind of, you know, choosing how to approach his food here. He's made a whole bunch of sand skimmers. This is, like, the next wave that's coming in. You'll enjoy my game with Tarn Armor in the next round of the Karat Cup. That kind of involves a lot of this kind of back and forth play, and it's kind of informative for how you should approach this type of scenario. Although it's different in this case because Sparrow's only on one location, but you know, you'll see what I'm talking about when I upload that probably on Monday. Siege cruiser fabrication. Oh, have mercy on the poor boy. I think he's a boy anyway. I don't know. He's Korean. Okay, that could be taken wrong, but you know what I meant. Bunch of LAVs coming up here to try and stop the base runners from extracting, but yeah, that's not gonna work. Base runner heal here, actually awesome for Sparrow, but that's probably not gonna matter with this many numbers. And he is just gonna get run all the way back to the base right here. Nothing he can do about this, not his fault, it's just, you know, well, I mean, I guess it's his fault because he lost earlier on, but still, I mean, this is just what happens when you got this many numbers. In fact, if I were Descara here, and this is probably indicative of why I lose so often, but I would just run in there and take out all these LAVs and try to kill the AAV as well, just diving on top of it, but yeah, that's probably not a good idea. But, you know, my idea is, like, if I can produce, you know, in this case, I can produce, like, 3 halves as much as you can, then trading 2 for 3 is fine for me. You know, it keeps you down. Whereas if we both stack up at the same time, my advantage is never going to grow either, so. 2 revolutionary 5U. Aha, look at that, he's taking my, no he's not. But the air units are launching, that's going to take out this AAV quite nicely. You can see them kind of tearing it to shreds right there. Strike fighters are a lot better for this role actually because they're not inaccurate for some reason, or well, I shouldn't say for some reason, we know why, but interceptors are very inaccurate, so when they drop their load like that, they often like miss, especially if the target is moving. Actually, there's, I think it was when I played on this map against A-Game, no I can't remember. I think it was on Torrent Crater or whatever, but I was playing with A-Game on the balance patch and I had dart maneuver for the assault railguns, and he's got interceptors coming in on them. Oh, look at that sick micro trying to like keep them out of range of the LAV but still dumping damage on them. Descara is the airman, you know what I mean? This is what he does. But anyway, I've got assault railguns and he's got LAVs, and I just, oh yeah, excellent base running right there. And every time the interceptors fire, I use the dart maneuver and slide out of the way and all the missiles miss. It's so funny. But the really amazing thing is that you can do that without using dart maneuver even. Heavy railguns can't do it, but assault railguns can dodge interceptors every single time if you just are on top of the micro. They fired their shot and you just change direction right then and all the missiles are going to miss. Descara's Sandskimmer's actually getting wrecked right there, but it looks like it bought him the time he needed to extract this artifact. That's definitely going to be worth it. He's on 3 artifacts now, and his carrier is getting involved into the game quite a big way as well. You can see he's gotten power reserves. He's just in his opponent's base. Gonna kill off this support cruisers, man. I think like 5 of them have died so far. Have mercy on the poor child. Support cruiser is gonna go down. Railgun's gonna go down. More air units getting launched. The LAVs are finally getting back here. They were busy over there taking all the sand skimmers, but those are gonna be reproduced. Oh well, in like half a second anyway. So, I mean, I think there are players like Catharsis, probably based on what we've seen from him in the last tournament, you know, or like or me, or I'm trying to think, like Garmlater, for example, that if they were in this position, like, yeah, Sparrow would be dead already. But one thing I really admire about Descara's play is that he's safe, you know what I mean? Like, the only way he could conceivably lose is if he would like run his carrier in here and get a kill, or like give up map control and let 3 artifacts extract at the same time. You know, he's not gonna let that happen. And I really admire that, actually. I think that's really cool. You know, like, he knows what his opponent's win condition is. He's not going to let it happen. That's definitely a good habit in RTS. So I really wouldn't, you know, criticize him for taking so long to finish this. This air unit should really get killed right here. They're not targeting it though. Look at that. It gets up. But yeah, I mean, Sparrow has not been in the scene for... Oh, well. Yeah, that happens when fighters get shot down. They stop moving, you know? Anyway. You can see it's fallen on the ground right there. Anyway, Sparrow has not been in the scene for like 2 years now, I think. Or maybe less than that. But it's been a long time, to say the least. So, admittedly, he's going to be very rusty. Descara on like the top of his game right now. Top of his A game? Yeah. Let's see, 2 missile batteries coming out right here. This is going to finally deny that airplay. But then we can just have air units on the ground, right? No, we can't have that. One more artifact is extracting right here. A little unfortunate that Descara was a little slow with his artifacts. I think he could have actually already won by now, just on artifacts alone. But I said just like 2 seconds ago that I wasn't going to disparage him for playing slow, so never mind. Yeah, his carrier able to just sit here for days, you know what I mean? He can bully that all he wants. Assault ships have found a pretty good angle on the sandskins as they're getting hit by those mortars. This railgun's in the field, they're definitely not going to want to be there. However, having the armor upgrades on the assault ships there means that like these missile battery mortars do like no damage. They're just like getting tickled by it, you know what I mean? For those of you who didn't know, there's a thing called weapon packets. And every shot has a certain number of packets. Like, railguns have 1. This makes them good against armor because it means that every point of armor subtracts the damage done by 1. But assault ships, right, you see how they're firing 4 shots? They have a packet of 4, which means that their whole volley is actually going to... That's actually a bad example because technically what they do is they just have a 1 packet shot fire 4 times, but you know what I mean. Assault railguns are a better example. They have a packet of 5, right? So they have like the same DPS as heavy railguns, but they do almost no damage to carriers because armor affects them 5 times as much. And that's 25 armor, that's quite a lot, right? So assault ships have 9 armor at base, but you can see they have 12 armor right here. And missile batteries have a packet of 20. So the damage done to the assault ship is reduced by 12 times 20, which is a big number, I'm sure you know. So that's the reason why getting upgrades is significant in that case. Descara finally has decided that enough is enough. He can extract the final artifact, he can kill the carrier, he can do whatever he wants. It is going to be a carrier kill, and Sparrow will go down. Quite a bit rusty from his 2-year hiatus, but I gotta say, hey, that sounds like me. But I gotta say that he definitely had a really powerful position in the early game there. That was exciting stuff, and Sparrow being back in the scene, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like, really, I'm so excited to see him playing again in tournaments, see his super aggressive style back in action. This is really big news for the community, so I just wanted to make this video. Descara already streamed this, so maybe this is cheating, but I don't know, I think it's still pretty cool.